Hi, it's Gary. Welcome to today's video. It's time for the half-time report. Let's jump on in and take a look at the pens I'm using this month and how I've been getting on with them. My first pen, the Visconti Breeze. This has got Robert Oster Fire and Ice. I've got to be honest, as a writing instrument, this is really nice. Writes absolutely lovely. I've got a really good Visconti nib on here. The only thing at the moment which really puts me off, and you'll be able to tell when we look at the other pens, the pen, it's just its looks. I mean, yes, it's got this nice colour, but it's nothing exciting. It's just this blue and white plastic. Still writes really well. I've been enjoying using it. With the Robert Oster Fire and Ice, now I don't know why, but I'm convinced that there should be a sheen to it. I just don't see that in any of my writing. The second pen I've been using is this one. This is by Leonardo and this is the Furore. This one's got a stub nib. All the rest of this month's pens have all got broad nibs. So this one is just that little bit different. Again, I've actually been enjoying using this. It's been nice. It started off with Diamine Acid Blue, but within my first day of using it, that ran out. So I did change it for Diamine Blaze Orange. One thing I'll point out, I did mention this when we did the intro, there's some blue staining around there, around the bottom of the section. That hasn't gone away, and I'm wondering when I clean the pen out if I didn't get rid of all the blue, because the Blaze Orange ink, it's not the bright orange that I was expecting. It's got a bit more of a brown tinge. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pull this nib out and give it a clean, because I have noticed today when I was doing my test this morning, it's not writing as nice. It felt scratchy. So what I thought is let's pull out the nib, let's give it a good clean and see if that makes a difference. But other than that, no issues with it. Used it a few times. Love this white salt colour. Just that staining, that's the thing which is letting it down. Pen number 3. Here we go. This is the Tibaldi Bononia. Looks very similar, doesn't it, to the Furore? Very, very similar shapes. I love the Bora Bora pattern on this. I love the blues. I love the browns. I'm going to just quickly jump ahead. Very similar to the Dark Hawaii from Leonardo. That spaghetti pattern, then blues and browns look so nice. Started off with Diamine Ruby Blues. Again, I was expecting it to run out. I swapped it, but I put another Diamine ink in there. Diamine Sargasso C. Really enjoyable blue ink. Loving this pen. Looks nice. Had no issues with it. My next pen is another Leonardo. This is the Leonardo Momento Magico. This is the meal pattern or honey. I think it looks so nice. When I started this month, it had Robert Oster Terracotta. And as you can hopefully see there in the ink window, that's still going strong. I have had issues with this pen. I had terrible flow issues. I would write a couple of sentences, then the ink, it was as if it was being starved. And although it wouldn't stop writing, it would lose a lot of the colour of the ink. What I've done, only 2 days ago, I pulled out the nib and the feed and I put it through my sonic cleaner so it got a really good clean. Popped it back in. When I did my tests with this yesterday, it wrote so much nicer. I wasn't getting the railroading I was seeing earlier. I wasn't getting the flow issues I was seeing. It was just a nice, constant, consistent line. The 5th pen, I've got to be honest, I think this is the prettiest pen of the lot. This is the Visconti Van Gogh. Just going to slowly turn this around. Hopefully this will capture some of the facets. Absolutely gorgeous pen. I love the way it's got all this faceted body and the way it catches the light as you're turning it around. This is similar to the Breeze in that it's got a broad nib and they're fairly small nibs. I would say maybe number 5 size nibs. Writes as nice. Now, I know people have said there are some issues with consistency with Visconti nibs. I haven't noticed it. I've had no issues. Really enjoyed this pen and it's really tying with the next pen as my favourite so far. Next pen, I know I showed you it a bit earlier. This is the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande. This is in blue Hawaii. It was the first Italian pen I owned. I've got to be honest, it's one of my favourite pens, and maybe I'm a bit biased with it. It's just such a lovely fit in the hand. It's so nice to use. It's got a medium nib. I lied a bit earlier. I don't know why. I got myself confused. The other nibs, we've got broad nibs apart from the Furore, which is that 1.1. But the medium nib here, it's nice. It gives a really generous line. I really enjoy using it. And it's a pen that I really want to keep with me all the time. It's so nice. So my discussion point today, what I thought I would do is I would give you a very quick look at the notepads that I use on a very, very regular basis. Now, all these notepads are used at least once, if not multiple times, for testing these pens. I like to try and use as many different types of paper as I can because it just gives you a better impression about how the pen performs. So my first notepad, this is by Black and Red and it's A5. I'm not going to actually show you where I've written in it. This is like a journal and this is what I use for my daily journal. So in here each day I write one side of A4. So in here what I do is write one side of A5. I know I accidentally called it A4 then. The idea of this is just to let me capture what's going on, but I try not to capture what's happened. What I try to capture is how it's made me feel about what's happened, and I certainly find that helps me. The next pad, this is one I use every single day. This is a Rhodia A5 notebook. Here's an example. So if you follow my YouTube, my Instagram, my Facebook, my TikTok even, I put these up. I put up a short video made up of various photos of these in the pen. So I do 2 A5 pages each day of this. This is just lets me really practice my writing. That was a bad example because I had different inks because the ink ran out partway through. On the left hand side, this is this one. These are quotes that come from an app called Brainy Quotes. And on the right side, it's from an app called Inspiration. Gives me a consistent experience every day. So I'm using the pens, I'm rotating through them, and I'm trying them on that Rhodia paper. And I generally find the Rhodia paper, that's one where it actually shows what's happening. It shows where there's issues. So that's why I like to use that. My next book, this is my Leuchtturm. This is what I use as my bullet journal. Again, I'm not going to show you it, but in here we've got grid paper, A5 size, bit of a creamy coloured paper. But that's what I use every day for planning what's going on and also for tracking various things that's happening in my life. Let's stay with A5s. So here we have a Galen leather. This is Tomai River and it's 52 GSM Tomai River paper. There you are, just hold this open there. Let's see if I'm getting to the camera. So this is where I use to write anything I've been thinking about my inks. So I try to do one A5 page with each pen and ink combination, just so that I've got a consistent view of what's going on. And this is where I used to capture my thoughts for these videos. So I'm just going to jump here. So here's the Robert Oster Fire and Ice. If I can get that centralized. There we go. That's better, isn't it, Gary? So there you can see I've done a page. I've started dating these. I didn't date them originally, but I'm finding that it's nice to have that date. It was actually on another channel that I saw where Chris Sains, she was dating her pages, and I thought that's a brilliant idea. But what's nice with this is I can actually look back, so I can go back to here and see these were the pens I was using and these are my thoughts on them. So it's quite nice like that. What I do with these, yes, I do the writing. I then take a photo of that and I put it into my acknowledgement management system. And then I put various keywords so I can actually find them very quickly. And then from the photo, which shows most of it, it doesn't show a lot of the sheening and a lot of the shimmers very well. But then I can quickly get back to the right page in there. My next pad. This is one you see all the time. This is my black and red, and it's my A5 notebook. And this is what I use when I'm doing my videos. So you see this virtually every week. Sticking with the black and red, I've got an A5 size one here. And this is what I use for my pens in use. So there we go, just so you can see that. And what I'm trying to do is keep this purely for pens in use. I've got a couple of others in this size which I use for other things, but that's the one that I keep for my main usage. Right, we're going to jump up to some A4 size pit. There we go. This is the first one. This is a Rhodia. There we go, I can show you there, the front. So A4, this is what I use for my general note taking. So here I'm having some thoughts about how I can track my videos, how I can manage them better internally. So these are my thoughts of what I might want from an app. And in here, you know, I do various tests. You know, I put down my thoughts. I use it for planning my projects. If I go to a meeting, this is what I take with me. A4, I like the size that gives in a meeting. I like the size it gives when I'm thinking, because I can capture a lot on the page. And again, I actually scan that when I get back home. So I've got an electronic version of it. The final notebook we're going to look at is this one. This is by Ayush. This is an A4 page. It's lined, as we can see there. What I use this for is I use it for my fountain pen focus videos. So as you can see, I can get 3, sometimes I could get 4 on a page. But again, it's letting me use a slightly different paper. It's 100 GSM paper. Let me just open that up again so we can see. There, one with writing on. It's cream coloured. It's got really nice wide lines. These are 9mm lines. Really work well. You know, you can also see there, I do some planning in there about what I want to use it for. It's nice though. I quite like that Ayush paper. Now, that's all the ones I'm going to show you. I do use a number of other pads. You know, I've got the cheap pad that I buy from the supermarket. I've got the pads like what I would call stool pads. You know, it's that really thin, cheap paper. I use printer paper. I try to use a lot of different papers with my pens, just so that I can get a really good feel for it. So that's what I'm using my papers for. Next month, I'm currently working on recording a series of videos for next month. I recently got an order that I placed with Colt Pens and received that. So I'm going to be doing a series of 3 unboxing videos. Why I'm doing that, there were 2 pens in it and 4 bottles of ink. I want to give each of these a chance to shine. So the first video in the series will be coming out roughly mid-August at the moment, maybe early August. I just need to work on my timings a bit. That's going to be looking at the inks. Bit of a spoiler, they're from Dominant Industries, which is a brand new ink manufacturer to me. Then the pens I've got, there's a Cafeco Sport, and there's also a Retro 51 Lincoln pen. Both of those pens, I got them with 1.1 stubs, because I'm trying to experiment with my nib sizes as well. So that's really where I'm going. Next month's theme. Again, I'm going to give you a quick spoiler. My current thoughts for next month's theme is based on this. I knocked the mic out of the way. This is my notebook. This is my pen case. It's full of pens that are inked up. Every pen in that case is inked up. I've just got too many. So I want to reduce the number of pens that are inked up. I don't want to throw ink away because I don't like throwing away. That's waste. So next month's theme, at the moment, I'm toying with, it's going to be all about using up those pens. So that rather than refilling any, I'll start. When it runs out, I'll just clean it out and move on to another pen. So we might see quite a few different pens next month as I go through. So that's it for this month for the halftime report. I hope you've enjoyed this video. What are your thoughts on the notepads that you use? Are you like me? Do you have specific uses for each notebook? Or do you just use one? And which notebooks do you prefer? Please drop a comment down below. Let's kickstart the conversation. Please hit the thumbs up button every time you like, every time you comment just helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. I'll talk to you again soon.